it looks like a half-finished Jenga
tower. Like the beginning of the game.
Like any building on any skyline.
No, but it's super tall and skinny and perfectly square. It doesn't look like
But the Jenga piece on the, you know what I'm saying?
You're talking about
You're
talking about the beginning of the game. You're talking about the beginning of the game. You're talking about an intense game of Jenga.
There's no appendages on a Jenga tower.
In-game Jenga. You can't tell that building away from any other untouched
It's like
Jenga
the clean Jenga tower, maybe at the beginning when you play.
You're talking about the like clean, tall, square.
Yeah.
Which looks like every skyscraper
and there's
on
holes
the
in it.
skyline.
Like every 10 floors is hollowed out so the wind doesn't blow it.
Can we please pull this up, Anthony?
Let's do it. Come on.
That is a Jenga. Like it's.
No, that looks nothing like Jenga.
It does. That's in-game.
That's like an intense game of Jenga.
Jenga doesn't have indentations.
No, they're in the second quarter.
It's symmetrical.
There's pieces missing. Have you ever played Jenga?
I've played it many times.
Fourth quarter.
This looks more like Minecraft that the kids play right now.
No, it's what you do. You take them off the top first, then you work your way to the bottom.
But it's not wavy. It doesn't go like this. It doesn't. Though Jenga is all symmetrical. I'm hearing in my ear that we're both right. No, I literally said we're both right.
Weirdly, I heard I was right.
Did someone say you're right? I think you usually hear that. I heard that we're both right.
We'll do this. We always do. And send it to Twitter.
Let's do it.
To answer. What is the Jenga skyline piece in New York? Welcome to our show. This is Good Morning Football. We're presented by Intuit QuickBooks, coming to you from our new studio in Lower Manhattan. That's causing a lot of arguments at this table on this Friday. My name's Kay, Nate Burleson, and Kyle Brandt, of course. And two star-studded teams went at it in Pittsburgh last night. And it didn't exactly get onto the wire.
No, it didn't. You guys ever play adult Jenga? It's a party. Roethlisberger out there headbutting his teammates. No, it's Friday.
It's Friday?
I think you mean what's right. Roethlisberger already down 7-0 after a Christian McCaffrey touchdown. Juju, first offensive snap of the night for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's gone. See you later, Eric Reed. That is a touchdown. Look at the clock, 10:18. We already have 2 touchdowns, so I'm sure the game will slow down. I'm going to put a kibosh on Cam right here. He hasn't had a giveaway in the last 3 games. He's played really clean football. No giveaway for 3 weeks. Here is the kibosh, courtesy of TJ Watt and Vince Williams. Really, 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 really bad play from Incredible.
TJ. Yeah, that's my TJ.
TJ was awesome. Vince Williams was awesome. And this game's going to get out of hand really quick for Carolina, who I had him as a top 5 team in the NFL, and then they had a really rough night. James Conner gets in, spikes it, touchdown. Le'Veon tweeting all night. Let's go. Fired up on the sideline. Guys, this was a mollywhopping. Ben Roethlisberger, I think, was the cleanest game of his career. He absolutely did anything he wanted to, including this. They broke it down earlier, and they do it again.
Listen, if you're going to play Antonio Brown, you got to have safety help over the top. So one of the best wide receivers of all time, one of the best route runners of all time, you don't put a rookie on him because that's going to happen. Touchdown.
Touchdown, 31-14. Let's go to Vance McDonald. They looked at it. It looked like he was juggling and bobbling.
He caught it with the back of his hand.
That's right.
Back of
he got it. Kurt Warner last night said, so last night, so they said last year, nothing was a catch, and this year, everything was a catch. That was Kurt's take. That's a catch for sure. A guy who knows a lot about what is and isn't. Jesse James throws it for a super.
Did he survive the celebration?
He did. Survived everything. And the Steelers did as well, because now we just got rookies scoring touchdowns. Jalen Samuels, because why not? That's the 7th touchdown of the night by the 7th different Steeler. It was symmetrical, it was emphatic, and it was a terrible night for Carolina.
Flawless performance for the Steelers.
It was like the whole Steelers had a 158.3 almost. It was incredible. 52-21. Let's talk to the guy.
And Ian Rappaport, he's in New York at Rappy on the Twitter machine. His son is famous. His name is Jude, and he's adorable. But I'm here, sir, to ask you about James Conner leaving in the 4th quarter. What's the latest on the running back who's having a Pro Bowl, if not all-pro season so far? And what does it mean for the potential return of Mr. Bell?
Well, let's start with James Conner. He is, officially in the NFL's concussion protocol, so not going to be on the field until he's cleared by an independent neurologist. Although you have to think for the Steelers, they are helped by the fact that they have extra time, a Thursday game. They don't play again for 10 days. As far as Le'Veon Bell, we still do not know, the Steelers still do not know if he is going to show up by Tuesday at 4 p.m. And of course, if he does not show up, he is not allowed, according to the CBA, to play this year. Art Rooney, the Steelers president, did come out and tell Sirius Radio yesterday he expects Bell to show up, but they have not received official word that Bell could do so. And also, we learned a couple interesting things over the last couple of days. Whether or not Bell shows up on Tuesday, whether or not he plays this season, the next franchise tag he would get from the Steelers, if they were to tag him, would be $25 million, the quarterback tag. That means the Steelers are not going to use that. All of that is to say, if Le'Veon Bell, whether or not Le'Veon Bell plays this year, he is going to be a free agent and able to negotiate with other teams next year, perhaps that gives him a little disincentive to show up.
And he is there in Pittsburgh. We'll see how it shakes out. And we're, of course, really happy to have you here on NFL Network to sort of take us through that as the deadline is approaching on Tuesday back here in New York City in Lower Manhattan. The Steelers won the game. Who won the night?
Who won the night? I'll say Juju Smith-Schuster. Last year, he was the youngest player in the NFL. And this year, he still is one of the youngest players in the NFL. And he's playing at such a high level. And right out the gate, the first play from scrimmage, they go up top. I mean, they send a little hitch route on the outside, and he comes in on the fade and scores the touchdown. And what was great about this play is that they were hitting these short screens and short hitches all game long, and they went with this play first. It's usually the opposite. You go with the short plays to open up the big play. They went big play to open up the short game. And I love the fact that they used somebody else to open up. It was somewhat of a trick play. Pump to the outside, go to the inside. You distract with the guy on the outside, you hit Juju. And what brings us home for me is that raising 3 kids, this happens to me all the time. One kid will come down, and they say, hey, Dad, can we get some candy? No, you guys can't go candy. We got dinner. Nehemiah come down. Hey, Dad, can we get some candy? No, you guys can't get any candy. We have dinner.
Enough with the candy.
Enough with the candy. What are you guys talking about? And then Nate and Nehemiah come down, and Dad, I just want to tell you, we love you. Give me hugs and kisses, right?
And Nia's going to steal the candy?
Nia's sneaking the candy out. So that's what it was. It was the outside receiver looking for the candy, asked for the candy, doing the ultimate distraction, and then Juju Smith-Schuster sneaking out the back door, getting his sweets, which is the touchdown. So shout out to Juju, 3 catches, 90 yards, a TD. It's big time, man. It seems like everything's working together, and every skill player is opening up things for the other skill players. This could be one of the more well-rounded teams in the league.
And that's why I'm loving Big Ben. You talked about him to start the show. He won the night. He won it in prime time. This team is now 17-4 under the bright lights. They like prime time. They embrace it. They were at home where he sort of thrives. 5 touchdowns. They had an awful game to start the season up against the Browns. Brutal game. Since then, he's got a ton of touchdowns. I think he has 20 touchdowns. So just 4 interceptions on the season. And I feel like this really is, name another team that Big Ben has had that is as well-rounded and just as efficient and gelling like this one. I don't know that he's ever had it even in his Super Bowl years.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough to say.
No, he's had some great ones. This is in the conversation.
He has 2 receivers in the top 15, Nate.
Yeah.
2 receivers in the top 15. He's got James Conner, who's having an all-pro season, and he's only been sacked 12 times. 12 sacks for Big Ben. That is the lowest rate in the league. This is the best, in my opinion, situation that Big Ben has ever had. I will say, yes, great challenge beating a really tough opponent in the Panthers on a short week and all of that. But for me, the challenge isn't over yet. They've got a couple crazy fun games coming up. From a fan's perspective, maybe not so fun for them. They've got Week 13 against the Chargers. Then they've got the Patriots in Week 15, which we get once a year in love. Then Week 16, they have to go to New Orleans and take on the Saints. So it's going to be challenge after challenge, but hopefully
they're up for it.
They're up for it because it certainly looks like they are.
We were up for that game last night. So unbelievably fun to watch. Fireworks, big plays. And I love the call. There was a lot going on the call. That's why the guy who I think won the night in a weird roundabout way is Troy Aikman. Let me tell you why. So every superhero has the origin story, right? Like Batman saw his parents killed in front of him, very heavy. Spider-Man got bitten by a spider. Hawkeye, who cares? But for Vance McDonald, who we have called Vanos on this show, this evil villain from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you think, like, where does he get that aggression? What makes this man run so angry? I think we learned last night on the broadcast. Let's show the people what we're talking about here. This is a really cool thing that Buck and Aikman did during the call. So Vance McDonald is that little kid on the right. And he met Troy Aikman, his idol. There's a quote in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I asked him for his wristband, and he told me no. And I just remember being like, man, that stinks, because the guy, he was like my hero. So Aikman straight up said, nah, kid, you can't have my wristband. That's back in the heyday.
The sweaty wristband that he can get 1,000 of?
He wanted it. Look. And then sometimes little things happen like that. You meet your hero, and then you get angry. And I think we saw it again last night. Vance had a touchdown. He had a few more catches. He's been one of the most unexpected offensive weapons for the Steelers this year. Sometimes you find a little kid, a little Tony Stark, a little Bruce Wayne. You can create them into a superhero. And by the way, get out of here, kid. Aikman's like, I gave him an autograph. I'm in the middle of practice. I need my wristband.
Remy Malek'd him.
Got my plays on it. He did.
He Remy Malek'd him.
100% he did. And Aikman did not back it down.
I'm not taking a video.
Photo, yes. Not saying hi to your little friends or anything.
Yeah.
I gave you an autograph. What else do you want me to do? No sweatband. And I'm on Aikman with this, but it made Vance McDonald.
Nate, you give everybody everything, don't you, when you were a player?
Yeah, I did, but I wasn't Aikman. You know what I'm saying? And plus, Aikman's like, I got the plays on this kid. Like,
leave me alone. I'm trying to be Troy Aikman.
But Vance went back home. He was in his room like,
You know what Troy said? He's like, he had a picture of him on the mirror. Troy Pye said, "Get one for my backup, Jason Garrett." He's like, "Nah, I don't want one of those. I'm good. I'm good."
Great story, great highlights.
Stiff arms in the future.
And we're rolling. It's very exciting. Awesome. Week 10 underway already. The Jaguars. It gets crazy. Especially the fourth quarter.
You know what's not going to happen in that one? Nothing. Yeah. Something always funky happens.
Seahawks got to get by the Rams first.
No doubt.
This week in Week 10. Let's say good morning to Steve Weissman out in the newsroom in Los Angeles this morning. Hi, Steve. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Good morning. And shout out to Kyle for that awesome article in The Athletic. I know it got some love on NFL Media's Twitter, but deserves some linear television love. So that was
Thanks,
awesome.
man. Jeff Perlman did an unbelievable job. Thank you for
Friend of
pointing
the
that
show.
out. Yes, Jeff Perlman's amazing. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, of course. Speaking of people doing big things, well, in high school, Patrick Mahomes once tossed a no-hitter. Now he's hitting on nearly everything. The Chiefs quarterback has the most passing yards and passing touchdowns in a player's first 10 career games since 1950. But there's another category where Mahomes could stand alone. He is just 2 touchdown passes away from breaking Len Dawson's single-season franchise record. And barring force majeure, Mahomes will obliterate that mark. The youngster has plenty of respect for the only quarterback in the Chiefs' Ring of Honor.
It'd be awesome. I mean, because Lynn has had a ton of success in the NFL and was kind of ahead of his time. And when throwing all those touchdowns, I mean, I think the record stood for a very long time. So it'd be awesome to pass that. Whenever you're trying to focus on an NFL team, if you want to make sure you're prepared, you can't focus on the statistics and everything like that. So for me, it's all about the wins. I mean, that's all I want to do. I feel like the first thing I said when I came here is I just want to win football games.
Guy's humble, says the right things. Jets rookie quarterback Sam Darnold, he hasn't practiced the last 2 days with a right foot injury, but he may still be available for Sunday's game against Buffalo. Head coach Todd Bowles told reporters Thursday he's ready to rule out Darnold as the starter, but not for the game. Backup Josh McCown expected to play in Darnold's place. Bowles told reporters that Darnold remains the starter when he is fully healthy. Elsewhere, revenge is a dish best served cold, and snow is expected in Nashville next week. But Titans cornerback Malcolm Butler has nothing but warm feelings about his former team. Asked about facing the Patriots on Sunday and the coach who benched him in the Super Bowl, Butler said, "It's just another game." That's very Bill Belichick-like in a response. As for Belichick, he has more pressing matters to attend to. We'll call it Shortsgate. Pats players have been taking their team-issued gray practice shorts home. And instead of having the franchise replace them, Belichick has reportedly changed the shorts to an ugly orange color. Take that, thieves. Well, is this something you used to do, Nate? Take the practice shorts home and just wear them instead of at practice?
Of course.
100%.
Listen, guys have the most money, but will steal all of the equipment from their teams. It's like, what are you doing? We'll go out. We're at the club, and I'm like, are those team-issued socks you have on? What are you doing? Got $1,000 shoes.
It's like taking the shampoos from the hotel room. Just take them all. It's free. It's me.
Do you do that?
Sure.
You need a shower cap?
Water bottles in the green room here?
Shower cap, but I'll take the body
you
bumps.
take the stuff you don't need?
No.
I think you do. You don't?
I stay in some nice places, though.
You know dang well can't no shower cap fit Kyle's head.
Plus, I don't need one.
You could collect them and sew them together. And
right.
If you sewed about 4 shower caps together,
seamstress.
You could really be working with something there.
That's
Thanks so much, Steve. Let's talk Dez.
All right.
There he is, the gold helmet on his head. No Cowboy star. Dez worked out with his new teammates for the first time yesterday. After practice, he joined our very own Jane Slater. She hooked up an exclusive one-on-one interview as only she can. This is Dez as the first time on camera as a member of the Saints with Jane. Take a look.
Dez, 312 days away from the game. You turned down 2 offers. You decided to come to the Saints. Why now? Why this team?
Because they're a great team. I just turned 30 years old, and just have an opportunity to play with Drew Brees, Mike Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Watson, a lot of more. It's amazing. I just feel like I can merge with those guys.
How was the first day? How was practice? Walk me through that.
First day, it was crazy. I haven't been through no training camp, no OTAs, no nothing like that, but it was fun. Coach CJ, he cool. RC, he cool. You know, those guys cool. You know, they're making it real easy for me. You know, and I already love them for that. You know, and I'm looking forward to learning more and getting out there on that field.
Has he told you about his expectations for the weekend?
We're gonna keep that closed right now. We're just still working. We're gonna see what happens.
Appreciate your time. Best of luck to you, Des. Good to see you.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Jane. Appreciate you sharing that with us. Des Bryant among a group of notable midseason wide receiver additions. This was so hot this season. Get yourself a wide receiver that can do some things. So, Des probably one of the biggest stars changing teams. Amari Cooper among them. I mean, they got a first-round pick for Amari Cooper, Josh Gordon, Golden Tate, Demaryius Thomas. Looking at this list.
That list is crazy.
Yeah. Which of those five lists on that crazy list, who will have the biggest impact over the rest of the season? Hey, Whiteout.
I'm going to go with my guy, Golden Tate.
Got to do it.
Yeah, of course. I'm looking at Golden Tate and what he brings to the table. Just pure explosiveness. Over the last 5 seasons, nobody has more yak yards in the game. And for those that don't know, that's yards after catch. And once he catches the ball, whether he's on the outside, inside, across the middle, I mean, his ability to look upfield and then get to the end zone, it seems like the guys that are in front of him trying to tackle him, it's just merely obstacles. I mean, a lot of guys will catch the ball. They're either sliding, they're knowing that they're going to get hit. They're anticipating the hit. Not Golden Tate. He's a huge playmaker. With the injuries that they had, Mike Hollins and Mike Wallace, of course, Mac Hollins and Mike Wallace going down, he's going to make an immediate impact. They're going to put him right into a process of being one of the best wide receivers on his team. And here's another twist to all of this. Golden Tate's going into the last year of his contract. So we all know when a guy is trying to make more money, he's going to play that much better. So you better expect him to do damage out there, not to mention Carson Wentz getting outside that pocket. That's exactly what Golden Tate does. Old school playground football. Hey, I'm going to hit you when you get by the light post. That's Golden Tate. I texted him on Sunday. I was like, yo, what's up? So what are you excited about? He said, I'm excited because this is a group that busts their butt, and they just want to flat out win. And I think that's a guy that comes from Detroit, and he's been struggling to get wins. And finally, he's with a team that reminds me of Seattle, where he got that no doubt Super Bowl ring.
He always brings it when he's on the field, that's for sure. He'll do that for the Super Bowl champs. I'm going to go with Josh Gordon here, and I feel like it's an easy call to make because you look at Amari Cooper, who's also on that list, and they got a first rounder for him. The Pats got Josh Gordon for a 5th rounder, and over the last 3 weeks, he's averaging over 90 yards a game. He's scoring touchdowns. He is averaging 22.7 yards a catch. That is a Josh Gordon All-Pro in Cleveland year number, and he is rattling this off and doing just all these amazing things and helping Tom Brady in an offense that doesn't usually need help, but they're doing it without Gronk, without Sony Michel. I feel like Josh Gordon, he was celebrating in the end zone last week. He's feeling himself. There's no sort of off the field anything going on right now. I feel like he's the kind of player. Don't you just, you know what's going to happen, right? They're going to get to the Super Bowl, and this is going to happen.
Ooh, 2nd and 10. Brady drops back, throws it down the left side. Wide open. Gordon makes the catch. Cuts it upfield. Driving forward. A touchdown and a title for the Patriots. And a silver trophy is coming back to New England.
Wait.
Yeah, that's what happened.
We looked into the future?
I took Bill and Ted's telephone booth. I went to the future, and that's what happened.
It looks so real.
The AFC is crazy. I don't want any Steelers fans or anybody, Chiefs fans coming after me about the Patriots in the Super Bowl, but can't you just see that? Of course, that would be the game-winning. Of course it would be.
Of course. And every other AFC team is tearing their hair out. It's unbelievable. That was an incredible glimpse into the future. I have a little glimpse into the past because I'm going to talk about Des Bryant going to New Orleans, and everyone's saying, is this really going to work out with Drew? Are they going to be on the same page? They're going to have chemistry? You want to see something kind of cool? Yeah. Let's go to January 2017, in which Drew Brees drops back to pass, my friends. Looking, and who does he find? 88 on the sideline, and
a deeper dive.
A pretty nice pass on the sideline. Again, almost a toe drag. The timing was there. He hit him again in this game. So these two have a long relationship of completion.
Kyle.
Drew to Des. Listen, I know other cars or other teams are like cars, and they're adding new wheels or new engines. That's great. The Saints are already a Rolls Royce. All they need is a little hula girl on the dashboard, and they're good to go, and they got one. I think we may be looking at the best number 3 receiver in the NFL, Dez Bryant.
The hula girl on the dashboard?
Did you just show us Pro Bowl highlights?
Yes, we did. Drew to Dez. I found it.
That's why we love our show. I made up a highlight. He's showing you Pro Bowl highlights. Welcome to our show.
That's
Up
right.
next.
You can. I can't. Nate can. I can't.
It's time to take you behind the velvet rope. Tell you about some exclusive VIP players that we have our eyes on this weekend. I'm feeling this music, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, some sexual healing right here, baby. I love this track. Let's go. Let's talk about sex.
Late 80s. Let's talk about sex.
Yeah.
Getting into the club.
Sax, right.
Sex, like
In
saxophone.
week 10. Saxophone.
Right.
Simpsons fans? No? Okay. It's a great episode.
Lisa saxophone, right. Who's somebody who's getting into this club?
Yes.
Someone who was coming to the prime of his life when this music was hot in the late 80s, because this gentleman's a little older. We're talking about Drew Brees.
Okay.
It's good to be Drew Brees right now, right? I mean, we know that, and we all talk about how great he is. I look at Drew Brees. I watched the show Billions on Showtime, right? It takes place up in Westchester. It's about this crazy rich guy, all right? And at one point, he's considering buying this crazy huge house, which I look at as Dez, and everyone's like, you don't want to do that. You don't need it. Your life is fine. You don't want to draw all that attention. And you know what he says? He says, what's the point of having bleep you money if you never get to say bleep you? And he buys it. I feel like that's what the Saints are playing with right now.
So you're in on it.
I'm in. I'm taking a risk. I think they're in. I think they said, let's go and buy the house in the Hamptons. Why not? Let's try to be super rich. And there's this question about, can he make this all work? Does he have chemistry with his receivers? Can he get the ball to everyone? If you've seen tape, he has great chemistry with his receivers. Let's show the people what we're talking about here. Drew Brees has got them all lined up, and he's throwing them one after another. It couldn't be cleaner. Let's take a look at this into the Brees house. There it is.
Okay.
Bang.
Which
bang.
one is Dez?
Dez is this one right here in the shirt. Balin, Kalen, Nalen, Braylon, all of his kids. As a father, I'm looking at this, I'm like, they even take orders from his kids, and they can catch. I can't even get mine to sit down and eat their peas.
So he posts this, Kyle, and
Yes.
he says, my wife must really love me. I come home and she has the kids all ready to go to bed. They're washed and ready to go, and he does this.
Classic. There's no better time to
Before
roughhouse
bedtime.
than right between bath and bed. That's your sweet spot, and your wife hates it. Nate, you're looking with stars in your eyes.
Yeah, this is amazing. I love it. And I'm breaking down the catches. A couple of those were questionable. He went 9 for 12.
They didn't survive the couch?
Didn't survive the couch, but it went pretty good, though. I love the efficiency in which they play with there at the Drew Brees house.
Saints Bengals this weekend. It's pretty much going to be the last game before we see Dez. I don't think he's going to play. It's a little up in the air. We might, but this is going to be the calm before the storm. It's all Saints right now.
Think about it, though. The Panthers lose. They're looking good in their division. If they beat the Bengals, and they looks like they should, then you've got the Steelers in prime position, too. So last night's game was huge for Week 10 and for the playoff picture.
Of course. Now, I'm looking at this like a club situation, right? You have guys like Brady. They own one corner of the club. You got Breeze. Even got Rivers, the OGs that sit there with the team. They got them bottles. But occasionally there's one dude that comes in and everybody cuts their head at. The music stops and they're whispering, who is that? Who is that young dude? I haven't seen him before. Is he new? It's that guy in the red. That's Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
And I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes.
He's in the club with them?
Yes, he's... Girl, he got a bigger table than them right now. Listen, Pat Mahomes, 29 touchdowns, as we know. That leads the league. He also leads the league in passing yards, but he's going up against the Cardinals, though. And here's why this is interesting. They're middle of the pack in defense, but their pass defense is ranked 7th. So you're looking at the Cardinals team, you're saying, okay, this is a team that we're supposed to beat. You beat the teams you're supposed to in the league. That's what coaches say all the time. But with the 7th-ranked pass defense, this could be a team coming in saying, we're going to try to shut up this young fella. We're going to try to shut down this young fella. He's going in 8 straight weeks with 300-plus yards. He's putting up numbers like we haven't seen before. But if you're the Cardinals, you know what your season is.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Play spoiler and try to beat up on this team. The Chiefs are playing at a phenomenal level. They're getting touchdowns at a phenomenal rate. Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, could hit 50 touchdowns.
Wow.
So I'm looking at this game for 2 reasons. Either he's going to catch a heater and do something like Big Ben did last night, 5 touchdowns in the air, or this Cardinal defense is going to step up and shut him down.
I can't.
There's no in-between with Patrick Mahomes.
That would be crazy.
Extremes.
At the club, when you have Patrick Mahomes having a table, and you're saying he has the biggest one of them all, whose table did he take? There's only room in the club, right?
You're right. Someone's got to go.
For so many people. Somebody maybe was hot, had that table for a while. It was the it name, could get in, velvet rope, all of that. Free bottle service, sparklers, models, bottles, all of that. And then it goes away. And it's Russell Wilson. But he's trying to get back into that club, and that's who I'm looking at this week.
Re-entry?
This is a must-win game for him, for his team, and the playoffs. Listen, they are revamping the offensive line. That looks better. They've established a run game. Russell Wilson's putting up deep shots, huge numbers. Doug Baldwin's getting a little bit healthier. He's got his receivers. He has to turn things around. He's got to run around a little bit more probably just to get it sort of put it on his back. He's actually only run 24 times this year, guys. That is by far the fewest rushing attempts of his career at this stage. They're 4-4. They've got Rams in LA. Then we've got the Thursday night special, Seahawks Packers, which always gets a little bit weird. Then they're on the road again to face the Panthers. I just feel like this is a guy who knows the club. You said they used to text him and say, please come to the club.
Get out,
just so
come
we
out.
can tweet and Instagram that you're at the club because we want the club to look cool.
Facts.
And now I don't know where he is in the club.
He's trying everything, too. He's showing that old Super Bowl stamp, and he's like, no, seriously, it's right here.
Yeah.
He's like, I know this girl named Sierra.
Yeah,
She's
he
in there.
show up with his wife to let him in.
I
It's
know.
incredible.
I feel like they need to get it together. 4-4 up against the Rams.
Still in it.
But they need to. But if they miss this one and they drop one against the Packers, then they're really.
Okay, I think he's
they're
got
out of
something
it.
this weekend.
Yeah.
I got a feeling about the Seahawks.
I
Can't
agree.
count him out, man.
You know, notice we lost our music, too. No saxophone. I think it was right when I mentioned my home life and the sax stopped. It was absolutely perfect. Unbelievable. Why are you guys messing with me like that?
That's what happened after a couple kids.
That's
man.
what I'm saying. The saxophone.
Dad
I
life.
used to play saxophone. I stopped when we had kids. That's it. That's all I'm
Yeah,
talking
me
about.
too.
Right.
We'll be right back. We can't wait for Super Bowl
Mary talk.
53 on February 3rd in Atlanta. It'll be here before we know it. And for the first time ever, fans get to enjoy the all-new 3-day Bud Light Super Bowl Music Festival. It features, guys, Bruno Mars is in the house.
Talk about it.
Cardi B, Aerosmith. That's an interesting collab there. Ludacris.
Luda!
And more. That sounds awesome. It is a music festival. You're going to want to go. And if you're lucky enough to head to Atlanta that week, do not miss out on Luda, Migos, Aerosmith, Bruno, Cardi. Saturday, February 2nd. Gotta love that. Tickets go on sale today, by the way, at noon Eastern. It's SuperBowlMusicFest.com.
That's going to be good with this contract. So we all know when a guy is trying to make more money, he's going to play that much better. So you better expect him to do damage out there, not to mention Carson Wentz getting outside that pocket. That's exactly what Golden Tate does. Old school playground football. Hey, I'm going to hit you when you get by the light post. That's Golden Tate. I texted him on Sunday. I was like, yo, what's up? So what are you excited about? He said, I'm excited because this is a group that busts their butt and they just want to flat out win. And I think that's a guy that comes from Detroit, you know, and he's been struggling to get wins. And finally he's with a team that reminds me of Seattle where he got that Super Bowl ring.
He always brings it when he's on the field, that's for sure. He'll do that for the Super Bowl champs. I'm going to go with Josh Gordon here. I feel like it's an easy call to make because you look at Amari Cooper, who's also on that list, and they got a first rounder for him. The Pats got Josh Gordon for a fifth rounder, and over the last 3 weeks, he's averaging over 90 yards a game. He's scoring touchdowns.
Their building at Cal Lutheran University is right up the road, not even 5 minutes away. Several Rams players, coaches, and staff members live in Thousand Oaks, where they held a vigil Thursday night. Head coach Sean McVay spoke about the tragedy.
Our organization's thoughts and prayers are with the families and the victims that were affected by this terrible act that took place in our area. And you know, it always gives you a perspective on, you know, we get sometimes I know me personally, you get upset about losing a game or whatever and kind of brings you back down and you really realize what's important in life and sometimes you take some of these things for granted and but we just can't wish anything but our thoughts, our prayers, our condolences for this terrible act that occurred.
Well, back on the field, Bills rookie quarterback Josh Allen is throwing the football at practice again as he is working his way back from an elbow injury. Allen has missed the last 3 games, but says he is anxious to return to the field. Now, as part of the NFL Salute to Service initiative, the Raiders Foundation hosted a select group of around 50 local veterans and their guests this week at the team's Alameda facility. The esteemed veterans and their guests were treated to dinner in the same location where the current players dine. They received an exclusive tour of the facility and the opportunity to interact with current Raiders, alumni, and Raiderettes. The group also got a surprise visit by Raiders head coach John Gruden. He recognized a veteran attending the event who is celebrating her 101st birthday this week. Whoever that is, happy birthday to you, as I send it back to Kay.
101 years. Happy birthday indeed. Steve, thanks so much. We'll talk to you a little bit later on in the show. But the Steelers got the win in dominant fashion just last night, and they are the pro football pride of Pittsburgh. But the game's roots run deep all over western Pennsylvania. It's a region that's produced some of the greatest players of all time. And less than 20 miles from Heinz Field, the town of Wexford features a familiar name and a familiar level of passion. Here's the latest installment of the Emmy-nominated original series, Football Town.
Western Pennsylvania is
high school football Friday Night Lights, so I love this stuff.
Football Town right here on NFL Network. Check it out. Coming up next, Michael Thomas might have ended the game against the Rams, but he started a war of words between Marcus Peters and Rams Saints from last week. Following the Saints win, head coach Sean Payton had a little something to say about Marcus Peters, and, well, yesterday, Mr. Peters responded. Take a look.
Well, that was the plan. They were going to travel Marcus to him, and that was fine by us. You know, we thought we really liked that matchup a lot.
Tell Sean Payton, keep talking that we going to see him soon. You feel me?
Fair enough.
Yeah, because I like what he was saying on the sidelines, too. So tell him, keep talking that and I hope you see me soon. You feel me? And then we going to have a good little, nice little bowl of gumbo together.
What's that mean?
Bowl of gumbo. Nice little bowl of gumbo together. Nice little bowl of gumbo.
Is that a euphemism, a bowl of gumbo? Like, I don't know what the term is.
I'll tell you what, Marcus
meant
Peters.
it. He meant every word of what he just said. Like, scary.
Sean Payton meant every word. For him to say, you know, we knew that Marcus Peters would travel with Mike Thomas. We like that matchup a lot. That's a shot directly at the player.
The a lot. We'll circle back.
It was basically saying, we knew we were going to cook Marcus Peters. So Marcus Peters responded basically saying, okay, we're going to see him again. I will tell you this. Marcus Peters is the best guy to talk to after a game. I love listening to him talk.
Yeah.
No filter.
Well, who's this guy? Marshawn's this guy.
Marshawn's
guy. He's a little more energy. There's an earlier moment in that interview where the microphone goes and he goes, why don't you back that microphone up out of my face right now?
Oh,
like, he said it respectfully, but like he was heated. You know what I mean? He's like Marshawn, except much more animated and energetic. So it's exactly what we want.
They're the opposite of Instagram models' pictures. No filter.
That's it.
Keeping it real.
That's it.
Question for you.
Yeah.
You, in all of your years in the league, you're telling me that coaches are talking trash to you?
Yeah, not all of them. Not all of them. Let me say this. I feel like every coach talks trash to their team to get these guys motivated, right? That's during the week, behind closed doors.
That's totally fair.
And then there's coaches that take it a step further and they say subtle things in the media so their team can have their back. And then there's coaches that take a step further where they start calling guys out on the other squad during the week and then on game day. Rex Ryan was one of those dudes that would talk constantly. Talk to everybody. I remember watching him tell, it was D'Angelo Hall, we were just talking about this commercial break, that's why my brother cut your bleep. And I was like, that is aggressive. Why would you say that to a player, especially one of the best corners in the game? And he would constantly bark at guys. You're a bum. Look at your hair. Look at your beard. Like, you're terrible.
I would head coach too, right?
Head coach on the sideline. A guy would catch a ball and he'd be like, you would never play for me.
What did Rex Ryan say to you?
He was talking about me being a number 2 wide receiver. And he's like, we're gonna stop you all game. And I'm like, okay, this is 2010. Jets come to Detroit. And I think about it, I wasn't even focused on the fact that we were playing Revis and Cromartie. I was focused on the fact that I'm trying to cook his DBs so I can look at them. And every time I caught a ball, I was trying to make eye contact. And by the time I looked up, I had 113 yards in a TD. And they squeaked one out on us in overtime. But the whole game, I was like, I'm out to cook whoever you put in front of me because of your coach.
But doesn't that work like against them then? I feel like if there was somebody here yelling at me the whole time, I'd be so on my stuff to prove them wrong.
No, because
he's just going to light a fire under
sometimes coaches will say certain things just so the guys behind, like your team. Jim Schwartz used to do it all the time. Sure. He would say like these hypothetical things. He's like what? Hey, listen, if I gotta meet him at the half line, at the 50-yard and fight him, I'll fight the other coach. And we're in the meeting like, yeah, but
you almost did.
We're like, you're not gonna fight the coach.
But I know you. We know you're a preparer. You're very good with words. You're telling me that you were that locked into the Rex Ryan thing, and you knew you were playing the Jets all week, and you knew he was going to talk. And when he talked and said that to you, you didn't have a line ready like, yeah, but you like my feet, don't you, Rex? You didn't have that?
Nah. Kyle!
Come on, I was Nate. Like, I know you like this toe drag swag.
My man!
Listen, I didn't want to go there. But here's the
All's
thing.
Fair in love and war.
All's fair in love and war. Because he doesn't hold anything. Rex will say the craziest things to players, and sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. But I'm not mad at it, because when my coach talked trash, we always had his back.
Mike, guys want to do some Mad Minutes?
Yeah, let's do some Mad Minutes.
Awesome games here in Week 10. We had an amazing matchup last night between the Panthers and the Steelers. We've got highlights just ahead, so don't go anywhere. But let's break down a couple of these things. And first off, let's talk Saints. Why not?
All right.
There. They're taking on the Bengals in Cincy. They're obviously coming off a huge win over the Rams. Liked seeing that. What are you guys looking for? Bengals, Saints.
I'm looking at Dez.
Yeah.
Here's the status. Last I heard, Sean Payton says open-minded about Dez playing, but unsure. So we don't know. It's not concrete. Probably not, but maybe. Even if he doesn't, I want a black sleeveless hoodie with the fleur-de-lis and the chain hanging out on the sideline. He's the best sideline player in the league. No matter if he plays or not, there will be a show. A power is rising down there. I'm just here to watch the Saints.
Yeah, it's funny because the football gods that giveth and they taketh away. You know, we have Dez, which for us is just as good as a gift before Christmas. But then on the flip side, A.J. Green is sitting out with that toe injury. He's one of the best wide receivers in the game, and we're sitting here saying, A.J., we just want you to finish the season and take your title as one of the best receivers in the game. But Joe Mixon for the Bengals, playing at a very high level. If you're going to beat the Saints, you have to have a running game because just like they proved up against the Rams, you can't outshoot them right now. So if you're going to beat them, you're going to have a running game that keeps all of those stars on the sideline. And
they're 4-0 on the road this season, which is wild. The last time they started a season like that, they won the Super Bowl. They're obviously, if they get a win here, they've got a 2-game lead in their division. They're looking good, those Saints. We'll see. Nice. I don't want to look at Dez as this huge gift to them. They don't need Dez. So Dez will just be like icing on the cake, which I love.
No doubt.
NFC North?
Yeah,
so Lions, Bears, it'll be a showdown. They're playing at Soldier Field in Chicago. What are we looking at?
I'm looking at this Bears team. You know, who are they? Are they the legit team that Matt Nagy is kind of Frankensteining? I mean, are they putting together a squad where the tight end play is just as good as the wide receiver play and the running game is getting together? Because there were moments this year where I said, that reminds me of the Kansas City Chiefs. And if they're that team, then they could be the best team within that division. That's right, I said it, the best team within the NFC North.
I'm looking at Matt Stafford. Trying times for Matt Stafford, taking a lot of heat. I want to make sure I'm giving the person the right credit. I think it was on the Dan Patrick Show. They said he's the Carmelo Anthony of the NFL. Hugely talented. Players love him, but he doesn't do a lot of winning. This is 10 years in for Stafford. 10 years. Let's go.
Smells like a weird trap game for me. I don't want to think that way. Khalil Mack back at practice, which I like. Stafford, of course, famously was sacked 10 times last week. We'll see what happens in that one. We'll go over more.
Okay.
This is the authority on board games here. Big argument ever. Cams is wrong, though.
Mini Finn.
Looks more like a bad game of Tetris. All right. That person thinks Kay's wrong. I agree with Kay. That building definitely looks like Jenga.
I am right. It's the Jenga tower.
Oh, it's 50-50 according to the peeps. That building does not look like a Jenga. But
you're talking to your building.
Who knows?
Your building.
John Hughes, the Breakfast Club. Kay and GMFB, that building definitely a Jenga set. Sorry, Kyle, Jenga skyscraper.
It's the Jenga tower.
We're deep down the rabbit hole now, aren't we?
I would like Nate to chime in.
Let's make it trend.
What do you go? Nate, chime in.
I feel like you guys are talking about two opposite ends of the game.
But if you were to look at that skinny little string bean of a building up there, you would think that looks like a Jenga thing. No, it's too...
There's something symbolic with that one for me.
You wouldn't.
The thing about I'm worried is going to topple over like Jenga, and it's that tall. It makes me nervous just to look at. We have the address here. It's on Park Avenue. That to me is Jenga because the whole anticipation of Jenga is, oh crap, this thing's going to fall. I grant you visually that looks like a mid-Jenga building because it's a cluster bleep. So there's all kinds of stuff.
Which one more reminds you of a Jenga game?
I got to say the Kyle's because it rarely gets to that point. A Jenga, I'm not taking sides. It rarely gets to that point. How often does they get to like that crazy Jenga one?
Just hold this, both of you.
It's 2-1.
Steve Weissman, because it's called the Jenga tower. Paper covers rock. I win. Weissman, what do you got? What do you think?
What about the Rubik's rectangle?
Okay, Steve, no.
Steve, come on.
Stick to the news.
That's great alliteration.
That's all that matters.
It's great alliteration.
Smart Steve there.
Tough crowd.
Figurative language. All right, to the news we go. Bill Belichick called Aaron Rodgers the best, but in terms of completion percentage, this season is actually the worst. Add to that, the Packers have never made the playoffs when having 3 or fewer wins through 8 games. So is it time to RELAX? Well, Rodgers is undefeated in his last 11 home games, including the playoffs, with 28 passing touchdowns during that span. Now, the Packers welcome Miami to town on Sunday, and Green Bay has a history of finishing strong. Just 2 years ago, they won their final 6 games of the season. Clay Matthews thinks they can do it again.
it's obviously we still have the second half of the season to play, and historically we've hit our stride in the second half, and we can't obviously rely on that. But with 4 losses, I mean, you definitely need to start picking it up, and however you want to look at it with the NFC North, I think we're 1-2 games out of it, so it's definitely within reach. But yeah, we need to start winning games now, because you can't put us in a position where you're up against your games are running out and you got to win every one. So. But I mean, hopefully we can get back on track this weekend and then worry about Seattle, when that game comes up.
Elsewhere, Bucs wideout Mike Evans was back at practice on a limited basis Thursday after missing the entire session on Wednesday. Head coach Dirk Koetter says he fully expects Evans to play Sunday against Washington. Evans was held to 1 catch for 16 yards in Week 9, but went for a season-high $179 and a score against the Bengals the prior week. Now, speaking of Koetter, he is still in the Halloween spirit. He said on his radio show last week that Bit of Honey was his favorite candy. Koetter showed up to his press conference on Thursday to find a bag of candy on the podium, and he decided to share them with all those in attendance. Check this out.
Yeah, I'm going to pass them out now because I might be throwing them harder. If you guys ask any stupid questions today, these are coming out hard. They're coming out hot.
We should say Dirk about injuries.
All right, what do you think about that? Because you all didn't like the Rubik's rectangle, I've got some stuff to throw at you.
Hey!
What was that?
Like Benihana, throw them like shrimp.
Steve, listen, you got to plan that out next time with us, because we had planned it and caught it.
I know.
What kind of candy is that?
We would have had somebody throw one on this side,
We got some milk chocolate Hershey's, some Kit Kat, some mini Kit Kats.
All right.
You're throwing Kit Kats?
They don't pay us. Don't say their name. They don't pay us, all right, until they give us a check.
Yeah. Steve brings the eye candy, if you ask me.
Hey, now.
High bar.
Thanks, Steve. I mean...
Hey, vanilla.
What? See you later. We'll talk to you in a bit. Thoughts on the Bit of Honey?
No filter.
Okay, isn't that like a candy from like the 50s?
First of all, it was made in Chicago, so don't come at me about Bit of Honey. Yes, they're so delicious, and they're long-lasting and have the perfect texture. I buy Bit of Honey sometimes. Sure. I do.
Old-fashioned. You get yourself a Mary Jane, a Slow Poke, and a Soda Pop. I love Bit of Honey.
A sugar baby, a raisinette.
Yes.
What's he going to do, hand out bottle caps? And
I hope that Dirk Koetter has a Bit-O defense this weekend.
Do you remember Shockers? The candy? All right.
No, I don't remember.
All right, let's move on to
amnesia.
This guy, Des Bryant. You did?
Yeah.
Well, wake up, because Des is a saint.
Hey!
It happened. He was with his teammates for the first time yesterday, and after practice, he joined RJ and Slater for an exclusive one-on-one interview, his first as a member of the Saints.
Des, 312 days away from the game.
Welcome back on a Friday. We're always in the think tank here, trying to think of new segments, new creative ideas to entertain the people. And we thought, looking forward to the games, we don't know who's going to win the games. We can't watch them yet. So what if we came up with an idea where we predicted how the games would go? That's why we got the hits here, guys. What's what we call our GMFB certified 100% grade A top choice pigskin pick of the week. Each of us will select one winner that we guarantee, the only show to ever do this.
I guarantee.
Get in there. Who you got?
What you got, Kay?
I'm undefeated in a second.
Okay, talk about it.
All right.
Go ahead, Brad. Do your thing.
I'm never undefeated in anything, and I've been I picked some, a couple risky ones. I'm not picking a risky one.
Where's the results first?
I guess they want to show us the results.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Kate.
Who was wrong?
D'Angelo was up there. Nate was wrong.
Oh, yeah. D'Angelo was up there.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to go. I just feel like there is nothing more dangerous than Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
In Lambeau with his back against the wall.
Okay.
They're hosting the Dolphins. I think his home record speaks for itself. I think the fact that the Dolphins have sort of been all over the place speaks for itself. And I quickly will go with the Packers over the Dolphins for my
GMFB certified 100% grade A grass-fed top choice pigskin pick of the week.
Okay, all right, Kay. Well done.
It's really good.
All right.
Burleson.
See how this works out, because you're undefeated. For me, I'm looking at the Jags and Colts. And both of these teams kind of struggling to find their identity. 3 and 5, you find the Jags, who are just sliding in the wrong direction. And then 3 and 5, you have the Colts, who at moments, Andrew Luck is looking like he has all of his swagger back, all of his juice back. But then again, they're dropping these games, making the mistake deep inside the ball. There's struggles there. If you're looking at both of these teams, the one that needs this more, I hate to say that because every team wants to win on every weekend. But it's the Jags, though, because they're so close to being the Jags of bad, not the Jags of last year. And by no means am I saying that this is an easy pushover, homecoming, Jags are going to blow out the Colts type win. I just feel like the Jags at some point, they have to get right up against a good quarterback. And Andrew Luck is one of the better quarterbacks in this league. So for that reason, the Jags having a coming to Jesus moment, talking amongst themselves, saying, let's go out there and beat up on one of the league's best quarterbacks. I'm going Jags over the Colts.
Wow.
For my
GMFB certified 100% grade A grass-fed top choice pigskin pick of the week.
What is that?
Oh, I think I went too far off camera.
It's going to be a hell of a weekend for you, Bob.
You got to tickle the flames.
Oh, my God.
You got to tickle the flames.
One way to say it.
Family show.
So there's something really weird going on that I just caught wind of yesterday. The Kansas City Chiefs, we know they've had a great season and everything. They have this unbelievable streak. The KC Star did a story on this. Kansas City Chiefs in 9 games have won the coin toss every single time. They've won 9 straight. And even better, all 4 preseason games, they won the coin toss. They've won 13 in a row.
Don't lose that coin toss.
It's crazy. Andy Reid is on record this week. He says, it's ridiculous. I never heard anything like it. Pat Mahomes says it is a huge running storyline in our locker room that we always win the coin toss. And it actually kind of matters because every time they win, they defer. So they always get the ball to start the third quarter. Here's the craziest part, too. They don't have some ringer, like coin toss guy at the poker table who's so hot. Every week it's a different guy. And every week, sometimes it's heads, sometimes it's tails.
Really?
Every time they win, the record is 14, according to the Star. Incredibly, the Steve Mariucci Lions and the John Fox Bears, not great teams, got 14. So this is, it's like all these stats about struck by lightning, bitten by a shark, they're all much easier to do than win 13 coin tosses in a row, which is crazy. So all eyes on the coin toss for Chiefs versus Cardinals. And I'm going to go crazy with this game, guys. I'm going to predict right here that the Arizona Cardinals are going to win the coin toss. And that is why Flame Up!
GMFB certified 100% grade A grass-fed top choice pigskin pick of the week.
I'm not going to make a joke about what Nate was doing. I had a bridge to one, but I abandoned it. I abandoned it because I'm a professional.
If the Cardinals win the coin toss, you have to make them go first, right? You have to defer.
I think you have to, right?
You have to make the Chiefs trot out there first.
Yes, and I feel like for the Cardinals who've had a tough season, winning that coin toss is a little bit of mental victory. No one else could do it, right? They change heads sometimes, tails sometimes. It's an unbelievable streak.
I did not know that.
Mathematicians are weighing in on the Chiefs coin toss. It's that kind of special season.
We love that. Hashtag GMFB. Those are our, what is it? Pigs.
The most by any quarterback against any opponent over that span. Advantage Golf. So how will the Seahawks stop Aaron Donald and company?
He'll be a Hall of Fame player for sure. You know, he's got great talent, can do all the things. So now I don't like when he's going after me, but you know, but he's a special player. You know, so you know, and you got to slow him down. You're not going to stop him. You know, you got to slow him down. You know, as much as you can, and make the smart decisions when he's around you. You know, and getting the ball out of your hand and just making the smart plays.
Meantime, bad news for the Eagles and Darren Sproles. According to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport, the running back aggravated his hamstring injury during Wednesday's practice, and he's scheduled for an MRI. The Eagles have been without Sproles since week 1, but they were optimistic that he would return this Sunday. As for the Chiefs, they may have just one loss, but as Kyle mentioned a little bit ago, they are perfect on the season in one category, the coin toss. Kansas City is 9-0 when it comes to winning the opening toss. In fact, they're a perfect 12 for 12 dating back to the preseason. But Patrick Mahomes wants nothing to do with that streak.
I
don't want that pressure on me for sure. I joke around about that. I say it's one of the most nervous points of the whole game for me right now. So, but it isn't. It's kind of a running joke type thing. I mean, I don't think there's any pressure. I mean, whatever happens. But at the same time, I mean, everybody knows that the coin toss thing's going.
Do you guys have a strategy for which one you're going to call?
No, I mean, we haven't. No one. It's like that thing that no one talks about. So when no one talks about it, you kind of just call out the team captains, and you go up there, and whoever wants to call it calls it.
Tails never fails. Back to you, Kay.
The pressure of that now this week, it's all anybody's going to be looking at. Thanks so much, Steve Weissman, and for hanging out with us on this Thursday and Friday. I think we'll have Wilselva back, but you did an awesome job, and we'll talk to you a little bit later. It is now time for a top, a five, a Friday. We do this every week. We each spend 15 pesos to pick 5 players off the big board that we create to make a perfect fantasy lineup. Let's check out the results from last week right now, guys. The dude who didn't show up to work today got the win.
The Shrugs.
That's right.
Usual.
Schrager got the win there with his standings, 102.2 points. But Nate, you're still killing it season long.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
So we'll take a look. I guess this is Peter's lineup.
Oh, Peter's lineup. All right, he's going to lose. Who cares?
This is his lineup
this is
for
his
this week?
winning lineup. Roethlisberger,
I think it is.
Yeah. This is week 9. So
Yeah.
this would be Amari.
Perfect.
James White was big. Way to go, Peter. Great job.
Thank you, Kyle. Let's go now to the fantasy big board for week 10. This is what we created. A quick recap if you guys are playing this week with us at #GMFBeats. 15 pesos to build a lineup, and here is your big board. 1 player from each column and a defense, of course. Nate, since you were the leading dog this season, who you got this week?
Okay, quesos like pesos, right?
Yes.
Not like cheese.
Not like queso.
All right, because I'm lactose. All right, so here we go. I'm going with Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback. We're going to start right out the gate. I need me a QB, and with that system, I feel like they're going to put up a lot of points. Josh Gordon as my receiver, and then Todd Gurley, of course. Like back-to-back right there. I think just those 3 people right there puts you guys in a position where you can just kiss the crown, because I'm going to go ahead and win the crown, because I'm the king of this fantasy league.
So Gurley had 113 yards and 3 touchdowns the first time that they faced the Seahawks. I like that you're spending on him. I got to ask you, though, and Mitchell Trubisky has my heart, but him up against the Lions, why are you sold on him when he has not many yards, a lot of interceptions, and not many touchdowns of late?
Because as much as I love my Lions, they seem like they're the get-right team.
Yeah.
If teams want to get right or get a rhythm or even get hot, they play against my Lions. So hopefully they shut me up right now, but I feel like offenses are confident playing against the Lions defense.
Allen Robinson's back from injury finally, but he's probably going to be hanging out with Darius Slay, so I would not play Allen Robinson. All right, Kyle, who you got?
Okay, I used to play these Genesis games where you select your fighter, like a Gauntlet or a Golden Axe.
Okay.
And I would always pick the ones that had the big attack power and strength. I don't care about magic or agility or any of that stuff. I'm just going to go with the top-heavy team. I'm going to go with 2 5 queso players, and they're the 2 in the upper left of your graphic.
Mahomes.
I'm going to go with Mahomes, and I'm going to go with Michael Thomas. Those are my attack power guys. I feel like they're going to carry the day, because then my budget gets me to Tariq Cohen, which I don't mind, and Njoku, and then I have a pittance for the Browns defense at number 1. But I need the big 2 to carry me, Adams.
Tariq averaged 40 yards a game with no touchdowns in 2 games up against Detroit.
I don't like it.
Okay, he doesn't like it.
But I need Mahomes to throw 6.
I'm really hoping, I mean, Cohen, everything in my being says that Jordan Howard's going to have the big game this week.
Yeah?
Game script dependency. I think when, the game shouldn't be at stake here. They should just run the ball.
Okay, there's a great mic'd up moment of Coach Nagy. He's hugging Jordan Howard on the sideline last week, and he says, I'm going to get you going. I promise I'm going to get you going.
Get him going. Please do that. All right, my lineup for this week. I'm going to start with the defense here, because we've got Miami with a perfect price of 2 pesos. Osweiler had like 13 points the last time we saw him on the field. They've got Miami. I think the Green Bay at home defensively. I sort of start there and build. Don't look now. He's the 2nd best fantasy tight end.
That guy's great.
In the league this year. George Kittle, despite the matchup you play him in, I love the matchup this week because they've got the Giants. Kerryon Johnson's going to do his thing, and he cost me just 1K, so he's my value pick with some upside. Keenan Allen has like a 1,000,000 game streak without a touchdown. He hasn't scored since week 1. I think he gets right up against the Raiders in this one. And Russell Wilson in sort of a do-or-die game against the Rams. He looks good. They're running the ball a little more. The offensive line looks stout. I think Russell Wilson reverts to fantasy stardom here in week 10. All right, that's my big board. What's yours? We are tweeting it out, this big board, not my lineup. Come up with yours and tweet us.
Hey, Kay, good job up there.
Yeah, you think?
I like carry on at 1. I don't mind.
I like this because it's short.
Yeah, you didn't
So
even need your 3 boxes.
Can you pan down with this camera? Look, I don't have to wear high heels. I don't have to stand on the box. Look at this, guys.
Not
Good
bad.
job, Kay.
This is my favorite thing about
When they
this
lower the
video.
basketball hoop.
Coming up next, Todd Gurley. Good Morning Football's back. Start your weekend off right every Saturday morning at 9 with Good Morning Football Weekend. Join the fun with the guys and Colleen Wolfe, and Rob, Reggie Bush, Mike Garafolo. We'll get you caught up on everything you need to know, expert analysis, and fun. Then Sunday mornings, bright and early at 7, and Steve Smith, Sr., joining the crew. While our reporters are first on the game day field, getting you set for a big day of NFL action ahead. Good Morning Football Weekend starts Saturday at 9, Sunday at 7, right here on NFL Network. Gentlemen, welcome to the bar.
Oh, hey.
We'll be talking in a little bit, but first, Seahawks and Rams face off for the second time this season. Teams, they met back in Week 5. It was really a crazy game. 3 touchdowns from Todd Gurley, and they escaped the win, 33-31. For a report on how the Seahawks are prepping for this rematch, here is MJ Acosta.
Thanks, Kay. Ahead of their second meeting of the season against the Los Angeles Rams, the Seahawks are learning from their mistakes. I asked quarterback Russell Wilson what he thought was the key to making sure this time around they secure the W, and he said it was simple: execution. Wilson says when you're going up against a championship caliber team like the Rams, you have to be right all the time. Now, one area of focus for offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer is eliminating penalties. He called them self-inflicted wounds during Thursday's press conference. Coach says they have to get rid of 3rd and long situations if they want to gain ground against the Rams. And I'll throw one more key at you: keeping Russell Wilson protected, of course. Guard DJ Fluker did not participate in Wednesday or Thursday's practice with a calf. Now, earlier in the week, Pete Carroll said Fluker has one of the toughest jobs on the field as he's lining up against the guys like Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald. By the way, both of those guys securing a sack against Russell Wilson back in Week 5. Okay, I'll send it back to you.
Awesome stuff from MJ Acosta. As always, we are here at the bar for a mad minute. 60 seconds on the clock. Nate Burleson and Kyle Brandt. We're going to get there between the Seahawks and the Rams in just a second. But the biggest debate going on is this one.
What do we have?
I can't see, so let's take a look.
Oh, we got...
I'm looking at my Jenga building there.
There it is.
Right.
That is my Jenga building.
Okay.
They call it the Jenga Tower. And by they, I mean everyone in New York City. That's mine.
Okay.
And
we have a suitor number 2.
That's what I hear.
432 Park Avenue is my Jenga building.
It looks like a Tetris piece even more now.
Someone tweeted, it does a little bit. Someone tweeted that you guys are both right. Kay's looks like Jenga at the end of the game. Kyle's looks like Jenga at the beginning. A lot of mine comes from the thematic elements. I'm worried that building is going to get blown over by the wind. Kay's is all foobar at the end like Jenga. Mine's at the beginning. I think we've met in the middle somewhere.
I think
shake hands?
I think so.
We should play a Jenga. This sounds like a segment, by the way. We need to do a segment.
Is there a Jenga in this building?
Which team's Jenga tower is about to topple? Like that, we got to do that, right?
Yeah,
I think you and I should play a game of Jenga, and
Like
that'll
off the air?
settle it.
Let's do it. Or me something.
Or on the air.
There's...
I also think we should legit be able to drink at the end.
Talk about it.
We're at the bar
Talk
for a second.
about it. I'm about to
Just
clear
saying.
that with the bosses.
It's Friday.
You mean you haven't been?
There was a black dude on Twitter. It was like,
what's he
Nate,
say?
you're not chiming in on the Jenga because we didn't play Jenga. I'm like,
what'd you play?
The struggle stories get real, but it don't go to Jenga, fam. We can afford wood blocks. You know what I'm saying?
You're Lincoln Logs?
Come on, man. We got Jenga in the hood.
I love that. All right, let's go back to the Seahawks and the Rams. That is officially the best thing ever going on this week. It's round 2.
Yeah.
It's a division showdown. What are we looking for? Nate.
Oh. We're going to Seattle. I'm looking at, I got a whole bunch of treats here. I'm looking at Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
And Aaron Donald with 10 sacks in this game. We always love athletic pass rushers. He needs an interior pass rusher at that can get after quarterbacks that are athletic. Of course, Russell Wilson, one of the best in the game. He's going to be that guy that's going to disrupt that pocket. And I want to see Russell Wilson do what he does the best. That's those secondary plays where he drops back, negotiates the pocket with his footwork, and then escapes trying to deliver his ball to his playmakers like Tyler Lockett.
I'm looking at the Rams. Sometimes even the greatest albums have a moment in the middle where the energy comes down a little bit. I'm thinking about Pearl Jam. Speaking of the hood, when I was in like 1992, I used to love Jeremy, and then we'd go to Oceans Track 7, and it was like a total come down.
I love Oceans.
As an adult, I do too. But at 13, I was like, get this out of here. I feel like right now the Rams are in the oceans of their season. They lost last week, and I think they're going to lose this week too. I do. I think Seattle's going to go there, run like they did last time, be in position when they did like they did last time, and they're going to win the game. Rams lose again. Oceans.
Okay, hot take. No, I'm just pointing at you. I know you said it.
Beat the Red Hot Rams last year when they played in LA. that happened. Rams were 4-0 following a loss last year. All right, let's move on to the Jags and the Colts. 60 seconds on the clock. You, sir, on the carb diet. Simple carbs.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to me again. All right. Listen, I'm looking at this Jags pass rush, which last year they were absolutely phenomenal. But the Colts over the last few weeks haven't given up one sack. They're at 0.
They're at a bagel.
That's a bagel, right? So what are they going to do? I said this is the get-right game for the Jags going up against one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Andrew Luck showing his rhythm, showing that he's healthy, showing that he can stay durable.
Awesome.
There's no better message to send to yourself if you go beat Colts.
Yeah. Well, I actually have Andrew Luck's new phone here. Hey. I've had enough of the Jags. They got to earn my attention. They've been really cold. I'm looking at the Colts. Colts win this game. It's 3 games in a row. And I don't know about the AFC South, but look at that wild card, especially if the Bengals lose this weekend. Don't let the Colts get hot. They're one of the cool brewing stories right now in the AFC. Indianapolis Colts, huge game for them.
They look good right now and looking into the future. And I mean, they're doing it with just T.Y. Hilton. Imagine if they use a lot of that salary cap space, which they have a lot to spend on a running back that might be available at a high price tag next year.
A guy who likes to tweet, wears 26, and goes by Juice.
A local rapper.
Don't mind it.
If you will. That would be bananas. All right, let's move on to the last one. Let's go Chargers, Raiders, AFC West battle. Kyle, what do you got?
You know, there was a time when Phillip Rivers started his career when he would never lose to the Raiders. I think he went 8 straight, which is 4 years of never losing to the Raiders. Then he hit the rocks, and I think we're back. I would love to build a case that this is the Raiders Super Bowl and they're home and they're playing the Chargers, but we saw the last time the Raiders won a Super Bowl. It's going to go the same way. I think the Chargers blow them out, as they should.
Yeah, as they should. The game that you're supposed to win, coaches is coming in saying, this is the team that you're supposed to beat and then beat up on. For me, the offense is the most well-rounded offense in football. Phillip Rivers playing at MVP level. Yeah. Melvin Gordon, we don't talk about enough, 6 straight games with a TD. And of course, the wide receiver core, Keenan Allen, a true number 1. And then you have the backups at that. Mike Williams, the first rounder, all of a sudden this dude is starting to get in the end zone. Tyrell Williams, it's going to be the next big pay wide receiver. I'm not even mentioning Travis Benjamin, could be the fastest guy in the NFL. I love this offense, and I want to see them guys continue to prove to be one of the best in the league.
There's too many guys to even name, and talking about the defense with the Chargers. Desmond King coming off a crazy performance. You have Derwin James doing his thing, making his case for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And you have Joey Bosa due back at some point. I feel like you guys picked the Chargers because you guys want free shots or something.
Do you have them? Let's do it. I'll take a Rumplemint.
I wish. That was your order?
Sure. Look at this bar. Does it look like they pour whiskey at this bar?
You want to lick my donut?
No, they make me sick.
We'll be back after this. The Steelers started Thursday Night Football.
A rear whooping from the Steelers at home. 6-2-1, beats now 6.
When is Le'Veon Bell going to show up, and maybe even does he have more leverage here to get something out of the Steelers? First of all, I'd be surprised if the Steelers gave him anything else besides the rest of the money that is due on the franchise tag. And by the way, we still don't even know whether Bell is going to show up. We know this. He's in Pittsburgh. He was recently playing basketball at an LA Fitness because of course he was. And Steelers president Art Rooney does expect, as he told Sirius Radio, that Le'Veon Bell shows up on Tuesday. But Bell has not specifically communicated that to the Steelers. And we also did learn this week that whether or not he shows up does not affect the possible franchise tag that he would get after the season. In other words, if he's here or if he's not here, if he plays or does not play, the next tag would still be the $25 million tag. The Steelers are not going to do that. So even if he doesn't show up, Bell is going to be a free agent next year. Just more food for thought as we ponder this.
Awesome stuff from Ian Rappaport there, and it's not ending anytime soon. The deadline is Tuesday, and you're with us all weekend long on Good Morning Football Weekend, getting us set for what could be just sort of at least interesting. It's never a dull moment with Lev Bell and those Steelers, so thanks a lot to Ian for being there for us through all of this. I'm going to give you guys a quick answer, 5 seconds. If there was one player you walk into an LA Fitness and it's an NFL player you guys can take on in a pickup game, who would you dream to have standing there?
I'll go Cam Newton.
Yeah?
I want to see if he got some skills on the hoop court.
I'm going to go Kirk Cousins. Double knee brace, double elbow brace, headband, rec specs, everything. That's
the cable guy?
That's exactly right.
Imagining being like Josh from Bridgeville. No, just like being at LA Fitness, like leg day, gotta, or like let me see, and seeing Le'Veon Bell there. Wouldn't that be insane?
That'd be crazy.
Is there a marker board where you write your name if you got next? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and every basketball game I've done, there's always a marker board, and he's waiting to have next from Connor, so we'll see.
Crazy. Good call by you. All right. Are you concerned, though, with what you saw from the Panthers, to get back to this game, not, fantasy world, more concerned with the Panthers and more impressed by the Steelers?
I would say more impressed by the Steelers. The Panthers ran into a red-hot team. Steelers are moving at a pace that could easily put them in the playoffs, and for the first time in a long time, convincingly beat the Patriots. I'm not saying they will, because that's still the big bad dragon that they have to slay. But I was just reading about hot steel, because I don't know much about it. And hot steel is rolled at 1,700 degrees. And that seems like the temperature of this offense. Big Ben is playing on fire. I think he has 3 of the best duos in the game, AB and Juju. Yeah. You look at the running back core, you have James Conner, and if Lev gets back, James Conner and Le'Veon. And then, not to mention, you got 2 tight ends that are playing like some of the best in the business, Vance McDonald and Jesse James. That's 3 duos that every team would love to have. Now, on the flip side of hot steel, there's cold steel. I don't want to take up too much time, but there's a dude named Paul Arnold. He was the first phenom I ever met, one of my close friends. 6th grade Duncan, ran over everybody in football, like literally a phenom. He was different than everybody else. Okay. We played our sophomore season. He would come on the bus after scoring like 3 or 4 touchdowns, and we would all bang on the bus and say, cold steel, because if you ever put your hands on cold steel, it goes straight to your bones, straight to your core, like you can feel it. And that's that defense. These guys are hitting like old school Steelers defense. Like last week against the Ravens, I remember watching that game like, okay, that's old school, nasty, hit you in the mouth, make your nose bleed football. Right. And they did the same thing to Cam Newton. If they can play that way on the defense side of the ball moving forward and match what the offense is doing every game, these guys are going to skate their way into the AFC Championship game.
Number one defense over the past 5 weeks.
Number one. Kay said the defense is on fire, and then they showed it last night against a great team. I think it was the most impressive win of the entire season, the way they beat down that good of a team. And the question about the NFC and Carolina is, to your point, was that just they had a bad night, or is there something fundamentally wrong with Carolina?
They're red hot, too.
Super red hot. And I thought it was interesting. There's a couple of guys. You know, Cam was more like, we got our butts kicked, it's okay. Ron Rivera came out and says, bleep happens. We've seen this in this league. I thought Greg Olsen was great on it because he said, sure, yeah, we're going to be all right. But, quote, we also can't pretend it didn't happen. It did. It happened for a reason. Greg Olsen, we've got to correct this bleep. This doesn't just all of a sudden go away.
Talk about
it. So maybe they're not knocked off. I'm not saying the Panthers are meaningless, but are they really a top echelon title game type team? We don't know. There was also something that came out last night on social media I think is very important.
What?
We know the Panthers held the L. Did they also catch some Z's? We need to weigh in on this. There was a shot on the sideline. People on Twitter are chirping. You're looking at Kyle Love of the Carolina Panthers, and it looks like he's out and he just woke up and he does the full, where am I? What's going on? I don't know if maybe he's meditating or he's deep in his thoughts or he's praying, but Kyle Love, they call him Dr. Love, seemed to be in night time. So he was asleep. I'm, meanwhile, at the table, am always wide awake. I talk football. I would turn to Kay and Nate. Do you guys think he's asleep? What do you guys think? You saw the clip. What do you guys think, Kay and Nate?
We're good.
No more angry runs.
So the Seahawks won. They're incredible, right? That's right. Kay was dreaming about...
Shut up.
That's a different type of dream right there, girl.
What were you dreaming about? Tell me right now.
I was dreaming about Friday night drinks tonight.
My man.
Friday night drinks
all right, good. I'm going to be having some drinks. That can be with you, buddy.
That is what do you make of that? But not me.
Your dream?
What do you make about the guy on the bench?
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was good in Heroes, personally. I thought that was his best role. Yeah. Like when he was playing the guy who could fly, he was great on that one, right? Hey. Rocky's kid, too? Anyway.
I love you.
Save Kay Adams, save the world, man.
Oh.
Hey.
I'll hook you up. I tried to on the red carpet and she froze up. She was falling asleep on the red carpet.
Nate, everybody ever sleep on the sideline in your experience? Full out, asleep, getting the head bobs in history class.
That happened to me one time in college.
He wasn't even bobbing, he was just down.
He was out. Big boys be out.
Meditating. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, he was. Listen, there's no way you can fall in those conditions.
Meditate like this, though.
You can meditate, and
it was cold
too.
He's
just a really good meditator. I will say this. They are a Saints win over the Bengals away from falling 2 games back in their division, right? And then you've got the Falcons to worry about. We're talking about teams that are red hot. Falcons look good. So if the Falcons get a win over their opponent, the Browns, then it's just going to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're sleeping on the Falcons.
Yeah, they'll pull away, right? So then you look at these 4 games that we showed you, right? It's at Lions, it's Seahawks, it's at Bucks, it's at Browns. I'm not worried about those games, but I will say if they slip up at any of these 4 games, then I'll worry. Because they've got that Saints, Falcons, Saints situation to wrap up the season. Every one of those games is going to matter. Do not lose to the Lions, to the Seahawks, to the Bucks, or the Browns. Then I'll worry.
Then you're worried, but not yet, though. And it's the red-hot Steelers. This could be the best team in football, well-rounded. We take it for what it is. At Week 10, they were playing like the best team on the field.
What's funny, Dennis the Menace?
I'm just thinking, if you're Kyle Love, how do you spin that? I tried to find if he has a Twitter account. I don't believe he's on Twitter, because normally they'd be I was doing this, I was doing that.
He's going to say, I was meditating.
That's meditating?
I was sitting there manifesting and visualizing what I wanted to happen. That's exactly what he's going to say. That's what he should say.
Listen to Adams. She can direct you, Kyle Love, if you're interested in it. I think you were asleep.
PR
So was I, watching that game.
Visualizing, like you and Milo.
Is it Milo or Milo?
It's Milo.
It's whatever you want it to be,
It's objectively Milo.
Our VIP.
Drink down to leave the bar, huh?
Came straight here. Actually, I got to bed early last night, so that was positive.
Good.
What time did you go to bed? 4?
No, I was in bed at like 8:30. And then I fell asleep in the fourth quarter. But the game was over, so
nice.
You know?
Beautiful. A Panther fell asleep too. You guys have something I love.
Weissman's got a smile.
He does.
Thank you,
Quite a
Kate.
smile on you, Weissman.
You know, who's got it better than us, right?
There you go.
Oh, buddy.
Take it away, buddy.
Since week 6, the Falcons' offense has averaged the 3rd most points, 5th most in the league. Now, to ward off that attack, the Browns could look to Denzel Ward. The cornerback returned to practice Thursday on a limited basis after missing Wednesday's session as he recovers from a hip injury. Ward says he should be good to go against Atlanta. It'll be a tough assignment for the rookie going up against all-pro wideout Julio Jones. Cleveland plays starting cornerback E.J. Gaines, though, on injured reserve. Elsewhere, new Cowboys receiver Amari Cooper gets initiated to that Eagles rivalry this weekend. Cooper had 5 catches for 58 yards and a score in his Dallas debut. Now, as he gets more comfortable with the offense, quarterback Dak Prescott expects to see bigger and better things from his new target.
He's a smart learner. He's learning all the positions as we complimented him last week and putting more on him this week. So, I mean, he's a guy that knows knows his offense, knows the concepts, the schemes. You can move around, put him in the backfield, in and out and I think that comes from college, a guy that moved around everywhere in college. So he has a lot of experience with that. So as long as we can do that, continue to move him, alert the defense and use our other players, it'll benefit as well.
Well, remember Philadelphia, they waited 52 years to see the Eagles win a Super Bowl, but Philly area hospitals only had to wait 9 months to see a Super Bowl baby boom. Lankenau Medical Center has a Super Bowl baby selfie station set up to welcome the surge of November-born babies. So say hello to some of the newest, tiniest Eagles fans in Philly, including this little guy, his name, fittingly, Carson. They've got nothing on Jude Rappaport, but still, adorable babies, okay?
I can't believe that's a real thing. That's unbelievable. Steve, appreciate you bringing that and those adorable babies to our attention. Back here in New York, we're bringing something else to attention. It's a new series called Impact and Influence, and it examines how players are changing their communities in lasting, meaningful ways. In this installment, Chris Long leaves his mark on Philadelphia far beyond his contributions to the Eagles' Super Bowl victory. Take a look.
Phil, man, I thank you for what you do, and that's awesome, man. Making an impact, not just in people that keep it all the way real, look like him, but young men that don't look like him. For a young black man to ask him questions sincerely and say, how can I do things better in my community? And Chris Long motivates that, man. It's special, and it means a lot to me. Thank you, man. Check that out.
And he's not the only one doing it, and that's what this series is all about. It's all season, the series Impact and Influence. It'll follow all of those kind of stories around the NFL, players making a positive difference. They do it. We see it every day, and we're so thrilled and sort of honored to bring it to everybody watching as well. So keep an eye out for that. And keep
all this pass and stuff with 123 catches in his incredible 1995 campaign. Please welcome to the breakfast table a friend of the show and one of my big bros, Detroit Lions legend, Herman Moore to the building. I'm waiting on the smoke and everything.
Ready to get out there.
You deserve it.
You deserve it, man. Oh, yeah. Now, Herman, 2 weeks ago, you were inducted into the Lions Ring of Honor. Now, in the 85 years of the organization and the thousands of men that put on the Honolulu Blue, just 18 individuals. What was that feeling like?
It was pretty amazing. You know, you going in, I didn't know what to expect. I remember Rod Wood came in. I was sitting on set doing a pregame show, and he had mentioned that we're going to be some guys. I was going to announce like Roger Brown. I was going to talk about Alex Karras going up, and then he said, oh, but there's a third person that's going up, and then that's when I was told about it. It was amazing because you get a permanent part of that history of that organization, and it just speaks to things that sometimes you forget when you retire, that you made a contribution at that level.
Huge contribution. And, you know, that 1995 season run was so magical. I mean, not only prolific for you on the field, that's when you're showing up in Jerry Maguire that year, shooting that movie. You had it all going on. And it was really cool. Going into week 17, you were 10 receptions short of the single-season record held by Chris Carter. What happened in week 17 against Tampa for you to get that record?
I had to come out and catch a lot of passes to get there. But you know what? It was a tremendous year. That was one where we had to have 7 victories to get to the playoffs. So it was great. And I eventually ended up going against Martin Mayhew. That was the guy, man. He ended up being the GM over there with the Lions. It was special. It was a magical moment because the bar had been set so high with Chris and Jerry Rice and those guys, man. It was a great time for me in my career to be playing against such iconic guys at that time.
That record right now sits at 143, Marvin Harrison. There's some guys taking a run at it this year. Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen. Whether they get it or not, Herm, who do you think, when you watch the game right now, who do you think is the best wide receiver in football? Who do you got?
You know, I'm not going to go with just the ones that are known. It's a guy that I compare myself to in terms of the fact that he didn't have a lot of quarterbacks, you know, at that time to throw to, and I'm going with DeAndre.
I knew you were going to go there.
He's a guy that gets missed. I mean, he's consistent, man. He's putting up the numbers. He's getting things done. I really like his play and the fact he's competitive, man. But he gets it done. You don't read a lot about him, but he's a guy that's in that time frame like me, man. I don't know what it is about DeAndre, man. If DeAndre got nothing but love for you.
So similar styles, though. Tall, long frame, big hands, strong hands, aggressive at the point of attack. So I think you see a lot of DeAndre in you, right?
I just like him, man. I like him a lot, and I like the fact that he's continuously putting up those numbers.
No matter who's throwing him the ball, totally. I like your Tom Fords you're rocking this morning, too. I like that little sauce.
You got the sauce, man.
I got to follow this guy.
Oh, man.
He said the bar too high.
The team that has the sauce right now is the Saints, and they just added another just speck of flavor in Dez Bryant. I want to ask you, because this happened to you. You got signed mid-season. You're with the Lions your whole career. You don't go to the Giants until mid-November, right?
That's right.
What is the biggest challenge then for a wide receiver like Dez to sort of come off cold, try to make it happen, and what advice would you give them?
Well, one, you got to come into shape. Yeah. Because, I mean, this is a team that's not playing around right now. They're trying to make things happen. Ironically, I had Sean Payton as my offensive coordinator when I showed up. Learning the system. You know, as receivers, you want to play at a fast pace. And for Dez, what I see is, you know, the wheels start turning a little bit. And they know that you come in, you're trying to make sure you got your footing. He's coming right into the mix. So you limit his play, and he just needs to do whatever he needs to do to kind of fill that gap of whatever his role is supposed to be.
It's kind of like jumping on the treadmill that's already moving, right?
That's right.
You got to get those feet moving. Now, listen, we have to talk about our Lions. They are in the midst of what some would say yet another disappointing year. Matt Stafford, who has had some highs and some lows in this league, has come under criticism. There's been the media outside of Detroit and even the local media who is basically throwing a lot of the blame on Matt Stafford. So we get the bird's eye view because we're sitting here in New York and I have to watch all 32 teams. You get to see everything from within the nest. What do you see within that offense, and what do you see as far as the struggles when it comes to the Lions?
Well, the struggle has been in the past is the running game. I think Kerryon Johnson is he's starting to pick up some of that pace. All of it, no. Matthew had a tremendous line. They brought in these big bodies. Right. That hasn't quite worked out because when they faced the Vikings, man, it looked like that line was non-existent. Right. Receivers had a hard time. Golden Tate leaves at a time where the team's like, hey, we got rid of this guy that's making this impact.
They needed him.
And all of a sudden, they needed him. So all these things are coming at the wrong time for a team that was trying to ascend, and right now they're having some troubles. But to get out of it, it's not just Matthew Stafford. You know what it is. It's a team game, so it goes across the board. The defensive line hasn't played up to its par, so there's a lot of issues that are going on that
now, to match your Tom Ford glasses, you're wearing a shirt that says Quick Lane Tire and Auto, and you're here with them about trading one uniform for another. What's that all about?
Well, first of all, know a lot about trading one uniform for another.
Hey, I see what you did there.
You leave from one game to another, and for me, I had to do that transition from football to the business world. Our men and women who serve, they go through that same situation where they have to trade one uniform for another, coming back to civilian life. The trading one uniform for another program, there's 5 $10,000 scholarships that's being awarded. this year.
Wow.
Towards an automotive maintenance and repair certification, which is great.
Wow.
Gives them an opportunity to change that, but we're doing a little twist. So we're offering to the first responders as well. And you can nominate yourself.
That's awesome.
That's a big deal. We're changing lives. We're making a difference in the community. 800 locations nationwide. So hey, if you know someone who's looking to get involved with this program, QLTrading1.com. They can go there, find out a little bit more about it. So it's awesome. It's a special program.
What is it? QL Trading?
QL Trading 1. The one is spelled out. ONE. .com and nominate. You got till December 7th to do that, and then we'll announce it December 26th at the Quick Lane Bowl that's held in Michigan, ACC versus Big Ten.
Oh, there we go.
Amazing.
800 locations.
Our first guest.
Over 800.
Just like you on the field.
That's right. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Just like when I was there and you leading the way. Thank you for what you're doing on and off the field, man. Appreciate you coming in, big bro.
Likewise, always good to see all of you.
Love you,
just my man Nate.
Appreciate it, bro.
We got to talk Jerry Maguire in the break, but next, Drew Brees.
Hey.
Can I get through my friends in?
Yes, you can. I can't. Nate can. I can't.
It's time to take you behind the velvet rope. Tell you about some exclusive VIP players that we have our eyes on this weekend. I'm feeling this music, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, some sexual healing right here, baby. I love this track. Let's go. Let's talk about sax.
Late 80s. Let's talk about sex.
Yeah.
Just getting into the club.
Sax, right.
Sex, like
In
saxophone.
week 10. Saxophone.
Right.
Simpsons fans? No? Okay. It's a great episode.
Lisa saxophone, right. Who's someone who's getting into this club?
Yes.
Someone who was coming to the prime of his life when this music was hot in the late 80s, because this gentleman's a little older. I'm going to talk about Drew Brees.
Okay.
It's good to be Drew Brees right now, right? I mean, we know that, and we all talk about how great he is. I look at Drew Brees. I watched the show Billions on Showtime, right? It takes place up in Westchester. It's about this crazy rich guy, all right? And at one point, he's considering buying this crazy huge house, which I look at as Dez, and everyone's like, you don't want to do that. You don't need it. Your life is fine. You don't want to draw all that attention. And you know what he says? He says, what's the point of having bleep you money if you never get to say bleep you? And he buys it. I feel like that's what the Saints are playing with right now.
So you're in on it.
I'm in. I'm taking a risk. I think they're in. I think they said, let's go and buy the house in the Hamptons. Why not? Let's try to be super rich. And there's this question about, can he make this all work? Does he have chemistry with his receivers? Can he get the ball to everyone? If you've seen tape, he has great chemistry with the receivers. Let's show the people what we're talking about here. Drew Brees has got them all lined up, and he's throwing them one after another. It couldn't be cleaner. Let's take a look at this into the Brees house. There it is.
Okay.
Bang.
Which
bang.
one is Dez?
Dez is this one right here in the shirt. Balin, Kalen, Nalen, Braylon, all of his kids. As a father, I'm looking at this, I'm like, they even take orders from his kids and they can catch. I can't even get mine to sit down and eat their peas.
So he posts this, Kyle, and he says, my wife must really love me. I come home and she has the kids all ready to go to bed. They're washed and ready to go. And he does this.
Classic. There's no better time to roughhouse than right between bath and bed. That's your sweet spot, and your wife hates it. Nate, you're looking with stars in your eyes.
Yeah, this is amazing. I love it. You know, and I'm breaking down the catches. A couple of those were questionable. He went 9 for 12.
They didn't survive the couch?
Didn't survive the couch, but it went pretty good, though. I love the efficiency in which they play with there at the Drew Brees house.
Saints-Bengals this weekend. It's pretty much going to be the last game before we see Dez. I don't think he's going to play. It's a little up in the air. We might, but this is going to be the calm before the storm. It's all Saints right now.
Think about it, though. The Panthers lose. They're looking good in their division. If they beat the Bengals, and they looks like they should, then you've got the Steelers in prime position, too. So last night's game was huge for Week 10 and for the playoff picture.
Of course. Now, I'm looking at this like a club situation, right? You have guys like Brady. They own one corner of the club. You got Breeze. You got Rivers, the OGs that sit there with the team. They got them bottles. But occasionally there's one dude that comes in and everybody cuts their head at. The music stops and they're whispering, who is that? Who is that young dude? I haven't seen him before. Is he new? It's that guy in the red. That's Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
And I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes.
He's in the club with them?
Yes, he's... Girl, he got a bigger table than them right now. Listen, Pat Mahomes, 29 touchdowns, as we know. That leads the league. He also leads the league in passing yards, but he's going up against the Cardinals, though. And here's why this is interesting. They're middle of the pack in defense, but their pass defense is ranked 7th. So you're looking at the Cardinals team, you're saying, okay, this is a team that we're supposed to beat. You beat the teams you're supposed to in the league. That's what coaches say all the time. But with the 7th-ranked pass defense, this could be a team coming in saying, we're going to try to shut up this young fella. We're going to try to shut down this young fella. He's going in 8 straight weeks with 300-plus yards. He's putting up numbers like we haven't seen before. But if you're the Cardinals, you know what your season is.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Play spoiler and try to beat up on this team. The Chiefs are playing at a phenomenal level. They're getting touchdowns at a phenomenal rate. Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, could hit 50 touchdowns.
Wow.
So I'm looking at this game for two reasons. Either he's going to catch a heater and do something like Big Ben did last night, 5 touchdowns in the air, or this Cardinal defense is going to step up and shut him down.
I can't.
There's no in-between with Patrick Mahomes.
That would be crazy.
Extremes.
At the club, when you have Patrick Mahomes having a table, and you're saying he has the biggest one of them all, whose table did he take? There's only room in the club, right?
You're right. Someone's got to go.
For so many people. Somebody maybe was hot, had that table for a while, was the it name, could get in, velvet rope, all of that, free bottle service, sparklers, models, bottles, all of that. And then it goes away. And it's Russell Wilson. But he's trying to get back into that club, and that's who I'm looking at this week.
Re-entry?
This is a must-win game for him, for his team, and the playoffs. Listen, they are revamping the offensive line. That looks better. They've established a run game. Russell Wilson's putting up deep shots, huge numbers. Doug Baldwin's getting a little bit healthier. He's got his receivers. He has to turn things around. He's got to run around a little bit more, probably, just to get it sort of put it on his back. He's actually only run 24 times this year, guys. That is by far the fewest rushing attempts of his career at this stage. They're 4-4. They've got Rams in LA. Then we've got the Thursday night special, Seahawks Packers, which always gets a little bit weird. Then they're on the road again to face the Panthers. I just feel like this is a guy who knows the club. They used to text him and say, please come to the club.
Get out,
Just so we can tweet and Instagram that you're at the club because we want the club to look cool.
Facts.
And now I don't know where he is in the club.
He's trying everything, too. He's showing that old Super Bowl stamp, and he's like, no, seriously, it's right here.
Yeah.
He's like, I know this girl named Sierra. She's in there.
Show up with his wife to let him in.
I know.
Incredible.
I feel like they need to get it together. 4-4 up against the Rams.
Still in it.
But they need to. But if they miss this one and they drop one against the Packers, then they're really.
Okay, I think he's got something this weekend. I got a feeling about the Seahawks.
Can't count him out, man.
You know, notice we lost our music too. No saxophone. I think it was right when I mentioned my home life and the sax stopped. It was absolutely perfect. Unbelievable. Why are you guys messing with me like that?
That's what happened after a couple kids.
That's what I'm saying. The saxophone. I used to play saxophone. I stopped when we had kids. That's it. It's
me too.
Right.
We'll be right back. We can't wait for Super Bowl 53 on February 3rd in Atlanta. It'll be here before we know it. And for the first time ever, fans get to enjoy the all-new 3-day Bud Light Super Bowl Music Festival. It features, guys, Bruno Mars is in the house.
Talk about it.
Cardi B, Aerosmith. That's an interesting collab there. Ludacris. And more. That sounds awesome. It is a music festival. You're going to want to go. And if you're lucky enough to head to Atlanta that week, do not miss out on Luda, Migos, Aerosmith, Bruno, Cardi. Saturday, February 2nd. Gotta love that. Tickets go on sale today, by the way, at noon Eastern. It's SuperBowlMusicFest.com.
That's going to be a good one.
He wants to do this, wants to brand this, wants to whatever, and he's doing awesome stuff. That venue, it looked cool on camera. That was real when I was walking in there for the first time. And I was like, are you serious? This is the place. It looked like a wedding venue. It was awesome.
I think that's going to be our next set. We're moving there next week.
Are we?
Yeah, we're moving the show. We're going to that place. We like to be vagabonds. That's it. It's an amazing job and great job by you. It's good to be back in Chicago.
That was a couple of months ago, and it's crazy because you think, well, if the Bears weren't good, would we want to show that, or would I be that excited? They're so good right now, matching what they're doing off the field. It's awesome.
And such a creative mind. I actually played with him, one of my close friends.
Is he?
And I remember him telling me how comic books were such a big part of him getting acclimated to American culture and learning how to just assimilate, with the people around him. And now, at this age, he's able to do that and provide that same joy for kids.
That's so cool. He loves comic books. Thanks to the Bears for letting me do
Adams,
that.
how are you feeling about the Bears this weekend? Bears-Lions.
I feel great.
You feel good?
I need to know how you're feeling about Super Bowl babies.
There was a story that the Eagles, 9 months after the Super Bowl championship, was all these babies being born in Philadelphia. And I just love to see what gets people going. Because, Foles walked over to Peterson and said, Philly, Philly. And Peterson said, let's do it. And I think the dad walked over to the mom and said, you feeling it? And she said,
let's do it.
Oh,
yeah, you're
right. You in that night, just like a victory formation, baby.
And that's how babies are born?
That's how the birds meet the bees. The birds.
I think people got to understand.
You've got a whole vibe about you.
There's no connection.